Yeah. I love being put on the hot seat first. That's awesome. So I appreciate it. Sure. I I was born and raised in Midland, Michigan, and went into the Marine Corps. Did 8 years. So I went from Michigan into the desert and fought all over the place in the desert. So that was enough culture shock to kind of send me haywire. No,
Nice.
I I spent 8 years in the Marine Corps
Wow.
infantry, and really, to be honest with you, I was in high school when 9/11 happened, and so
Hmm.
it kind of made my mind up for me. I was going to go in. I needed to add value into that equation. I just wanted to be a part of the fight, but it wasn't a hard charger thing. It was
Hmm.
like how based upon my strength can I be of value to this or an asset to that? So in all actuality, I spent 7 years, 10 months, and 5 days in uniform.
Wow.
Uh, went to boot camp August of 2004 and left service in May of 2012. 3 tours of combat, two to Ramadi, Iraq, one in '05 and again in '07. Then I volunteered to become an instructor and went over to Quantico, Virginia, where I trained officers in
Hmm.
combat marksmanship instruction. So I trained officers how to shoot both rifle and pistol, and then volunteered for a third combat tour, this time to Afghanistan, where I was a police advisor to the Afghan uniform police. So there were 12 of us and 83 Afghans, and we ate with them and slept with them and worked with them and trained with them and did all of that other fun stuff in order to make them proficient. And it was a very awesome experience. And so yeah, coming out of that challenge and being highly effective, I transitioned out and moved from San Diego to Boston. I'm an NRA instructor, a firearms instructor. I do a
Wow.
variety of different things. So Boston was not conducive for my lifestyle,
Sure. Sure.
to put it simply. And so that led me to move down to the North Carolina area where I was looking to get together with fellow veterans. And my big, hairy, audacious goal, to be honest with you, I'll just level with you up front. I want to have a hand in creating 400 veteran billionaires across
Wow.
America. My goal is 8 in all 50 states. Um, it's just to have a hand in it. That's one of the reasons why I created a 5 paragraph business plan to basically correlate what we learned in the military with what we're looking to be able to learn on the outside.
Hmm.
And so a fellow veteran, Alicia Ramsey, put my toes to the edge of the TEDxRaleigh application, and then Spartan kicked me in the back and watched me fly or fall. And so, yeah, so I applied, and honestly had no clue that I was going to get in. I kind of positioned myself near the back of the restaurant, like, all right, I'm going to do the Irish goodbye, just kind of flip on the be good, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they called my name, and I was like, oh, geez, I better have something to say.
Right.
So that's
Wow.
me, man.
Unbelievable.
2 wives, 3 kids. Yeah,
Not at the same time, though, right?
none at the same time.
No. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Wow, dude. Well, first of all, thank you for your service. I mean, gosh,
Oh,
that is just unbelievable. Like, if you do nothing else, you've done enough.
I,
You know,
thank,
like,
thank you. I appreciate
wow, that's unbelievable. So what caused you to make that transition from like being in the service to doing what you're doing now? Was there something that happened, or
Totally.
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, the first thing that happened was I was coming up on the end of my enlistment, and it was, are you going to stay in the military or are you going to go somewhere else? Based on the policies in the Marine Corps and some of the other things, I mean, when you're in the Marine Corps gets what the Marine Corps wants.
yeah,
You don't do it Mike's way. You do it the Marine Corps way.
right?
And I learned a lot, got my pound of flesh back as an instructor, and wanted to take that just into a new challenge.
Mm.
I pursued the Marine Corps. It was. It was hard. It was very difficult. It was very challenging. I wanted that. And so in transitioning out of the military, it's like, well, now it's entrepreneurship.
Mm.
So what's the challenge I can do now, essentially? How can I add the most value?
Right.
Basically what it was is I along the pathway I began adopting a methodology of analyzing my strengths and my weaknesses. And if you're if you're good and you're honest with yourself, you got 3 strengths and you got 3 weaknesses. I mean, everybody's got that. You
Right.
can even say like weakness is an eyesight and then strength is height.
Right.
You can do that. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
You know, that it's whatever. But the point though is that once I knew my strengths and my weaknesses, that was the individual me, and I needed to go find a group that I could collaborate in, who had a different mentality or mindset that I wanted to be a part of, and that in turn would allow me to commit the action that I wanted to commit. So case in point with the Marine Corps, I knew that I wanted to go and I wanted to be highly effective, not go and rage out like a barbarian against the terrorists. I wanted to use my mind, my intellect, in order to cause the most amount of value or add the most amount of value in a conflict. How I could add the most amount of value was the United States Marines, and then that translates even more niche. So, you know, getting out and seeing what the current climate around our nation is. I got out May 16th, 2012. And I just kind of got out and was like, okay. But yeah, I've been fighting for a really long time, and I know that I've been kind of in this bubble of the military, but what is going on here? And in order to build another future, you've got to have people who are willing to pick up the guidon and charge forward. And so who better than that? United States Marine. So why not add value to that situation? So yeah, man. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So what is your talk? What is the topic?
The topic really is adding value to every situation, but ideally what it is we talk about staying in the moment, and we talk about, oh, I can go do this, or we try to motivate each other and stuff like that. I don't even bother anymore. It's not that I don't look to help people. It's that you already have that. It's solely based upon empowerment.
Yeah.
So the point is that every human being has the ability to add value to any situation. Isolate as an individual your strengths and your weaknesses. Find a group of people that you want to associate with, and develop a mentality, a positive mindset in order to move forward, and that will allow you to commit action.
Wow. Have you ever seen? There's a documentary on Netflix. I think it's called Kamari.
Kamari. Oh,
yeah.
God, I could write this down now.
Dude, I watched it for the first time this weekend, and it just like it was very similar. It's actually this guy who like pretends to be, he's like from Phoenix or something, and he just like pretends to be this like Indian like guru, and gets like this big following. He's completely fake, and he like grows the beard and the hair and the locks and the whole thing. And so all these people are following him, and at the end he like shaves it off and he goes out like, dude, you guys don't need me, like, and this huge like revelation for all these people, like you have the ability to get better. You have the ability to be motivated or to lose weight or to like do your thing. And like, you don't need a guru to get it done. So I don't know, just what some of the things you said made me think of that, and how we like, we get really romantic about some of the things that we can really do. And it's our choice, and we don't need anything extra. So, wow, that's awesome. All right, Jason, we'll stop ignoring you, dude. Tell us about you. Oh, where'd your volume go? I can't hear you.
He was playing with his microphone, and now it's broken.
Oh, now he broke his mic because he was showing it off. Can't hear you. No.
We get really wrong.
I think that's it. Talk to me. No. No. So, Michael, now I think this is our opportunity.
No, this is great. I love. I mean, you guys are the first two guys. Oh, can't hear me? Testing.
I can hear you now.
Can you hear? You can't hear me?
Oh, I think you're behind. I think you're behind.
Yeah, I think he might be behind.
Yeah, I think he's like super behind. All right. Now he froze on us. Well, it's just me and you now.
Well, I'm going to give him props, though, because I want him to know that he's mad love.
Still give him some love. That's funny. Man.
Yeah, so what brings you to TED? What, I looked up your bio and your background. It's very impressive with the Dale Carnegie, but I just wonder what your topic you're looking to go into.
Yeah, so the thing that got me really involved with with Ted was I really didn't start developing as a human being until my early 20s.
That's weird.
And it was hold on, Jason's calling in. Let me accept him real quick.
I gotta hydrate.
Yeah.
I don't have my throat coat with me.
Well,
shout out to our peeps watching, by the way. If you do want to support veteran-led businesses, check out veteranbliss.us.
There you go.
That is veteran-only businesses. Check that out, veteranbliss.us.
And how are you connected to that?
Will Amos is a fellow Marine. We also do affiliate work with him. So if you're a veteran business owner and you'd like to get a featured membership, normally $350 a year, right, for a featured membership, if you enter in discount code cigars and C, you will get 50% off, 50% off. So $175 for a featured membership on veteransbliss.us. I mean, Veterans List was featured by USA Today. I'm pretty sure that they're doing a spot in time. They're just
cool.
They're blowing up in a very positive way, and it's like
Angie's
List, but it's for vetted veteran-only business. Awesome.
Wow, interesting. So you said cigars and C. Is it C's and cigars or cigars and C's?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. It's Cigars and C. My podcast that I run is Cigars and C Stories. You can check that out at cigarsandcstories.com. And that's a bunch of Marines just smoking and joking and sharing candid war stories. And, yeah.
Cool. So it looks like Tracy says that your sound is very low. Tracy, before you got on, one thing that we realized is my audio sounds better because my beard doesn't muffle the sound the same way that Michael's does. Right. So we apologize.
There it is.
All right.
Is that better? Can I just talk directly into the microphone?
Wow, that hurts my that hurts me even worse that actually worked. So I don't know.
The voice couldn't make it around.
Right. Right. All right. So I don't know what's going on with Jason, but he keeps trying to get in and he can't get in. So
Jason,
so
I'm sorry that only people learned about me. We need to know about you.
All right. So so my story is like I said, I really didn't start like developing as a human being until like my early 20s. I was diagnosed at a young age with a handful of learning disabilities. Not to mention, let me answer this question real quick. Tracy, when is the TEDx talk in Raleigh? March 19th. TEDxRaleigh.org is the best place to learn about that. A handful of new press releases just came out where you can learn about myself, Michael, Jason, and all the other presenters, as well as what they'll be talking about. So check out TEDxRaleigh.org. And that's also one thing else you should know is I think the event is already sold out. They sold out in like 14 minutes. Which was really cool. They're working on maybe doing some other things. There may be a secondary area. I'm really not sure what that's going to look like. But if you'll go to TEDxRaleigh.org and click on, click on purchase tickets, you can get put on a waiting list. And I would highly recommend that you do that sooner than later.
Even my folks wound up on the waiting list.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of people, like even like close friends and family of some of the presenters, and I think that's the downside of local events sometimes is that when you sell out and you sell out fast, like some people miss out, and you know we haven't had a TEDx here in Raleigh in a while, and so I think it's hard to gauge like how many people are going to come. You want the group to be, you want it to be full.
Right.
And so it's a hard, like, I think I don't envy the planning team. And gosh, you look at the planning team and it's like, they didn't even need a call for presenters. Like they could have done it. I mean, just super dynamic people. Right. So it's been cool to get to know some of those guys as well. Jason. I feel awful, Jason. I know he can hear us. He just can't communicate with us. And I keep trying to let him in, and he can't get in for whatever reason.
Hey, Jason, you can come down to the phone call lounge and just, slide up onto the lap. We'll be fine. We'll double up onto the room.
Yeah, there you go, Jason. Run down and peek in with Michael.
There you go. You know where I am. I'm across the way from Sims. Fred's gonna come in here and be like, "All right, you guys need to quiet down in here." This is such a great place. For folks who don't know, we're at the Frontier Building in Research Triangle Park. And this is where, I'm here because this is the home of Bunker Labs, which is a veteran-focused business accelerator. It's awesome. Anyway, enough about me. All right, so you were telling us about your story.
Yeah. So, a handful of learning disabilities, a little bit of a speech impediment, some ADD, some ADHD, some dyslexia, some narcolepsy, some, all this stuff. And so I was kind of given all these labels, and, my parents really tried to sort of build my self-esteem in the best way they knew how. And the best way they knew how was through athletics. And so I became a relatively good basketball player, good enough to be recruited to play in college, and really was the only reason I went to college, because a 1.4 usually doesn't get you a full ride.
Right.
And so I just sort of made just decided I'm sort of a victim of the circumstance, and it is the way it is. And I had kind of a head-on collision with a particular person at my university. She was responsible for sort of helping the athletes make sure they kept their grades up enough to pass. And she just, she asked me to come to her office one day, and she said, your biggest problem is that you're a victim. And I've got the folder that says that's true, right? I'm like, yeah, here it is. Here's the paper that says this. And I made it there he is.
Is he in?
No, it won't let me let him in.
I noticed his comment down here. I'll have to make out with him.
Yeah.
Mike, that's absolutely true. Can't grass around here. I'm sorry. That's just,
yeah.
You know how it is.
Yeah, I don't know why it won't let me let him in, but I can't. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, he's just gonna have to come sit with you if he wants to talk to us. So we'll see how important we are. All right. Oh man, look at that. Tracy is on it. Thank you, Tracy. So yeah, she just said, look, your biggest problem is you're a victim. And I completely accepted that and said, you're right. And, I would go in every semester and take my little notebook and say, this is why I'm going to probably fail your course and why you should pass me anyways. And she said, the problem is you think that's true, but the truth is that you're just a victim of your own thinking. And you're going to come to my office every day until you change your attitude about that. And so she gave me a box of Crazy 8 crayons and some kid construction paper. And at that time, I was a junior in college with a 1.4 GPA. And I had about a 6th grade reading comprehension. And I had literally never passed a grade without either just getting pushed through because the teacher didn't want to deal with me next year, or I'm going to summer school. And so over about a 3-week period, she completely changed my attitude and the way I thought about myself. And what she would do with those crayons and the construction paper, she would read me my homework. And she said, I don't care what you draw, but just draw whatever comes to your mind as I'm reading this, and it'll help you remember it. And after a while, I started to be able to retain and recall things. And then I started to be able, I changed my attitude about what I could learn. Well, I had a 1.4 at the end of that semester. The next semester, I had a 3.9. And just like this huge shift in my mind. And I just became like this insatiable appetite for learning and developing. And so, I finished college and went into the family business and ran a family business for a while, and then had an intersection with Dale Carnegie, where Dale Carnegie really gave me the methods to sort of execute against the attitude that I had developed over those couple of years since I'd had that sort of shift. And, I look back, this was maybe a couple of years ago when I look back and said, what is mentorship really? And I started to realize things that are very similar to what we heard you say, in that, mentorship today, is just so much different than what it was 100 years ago, right? I mean, 100 years ago, mentorship was about passing the baton, but today mentorship, everyone has a baton. It's not about passing it anymore. Everyone has one of these, right? And so we have the ability to connect and reach out and learn things that, people 100 years ago just didn't. But we haven't changed the way we think about it. And so that's really a lot of what my talk is about, is what are some tactical ways that we can leverage a new definition of mentorship?
Nice. I love that. I love it a lot. I spent a lot of my time mentoring fellow veterans.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's free of charge, of course. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
The number one thing is mentorship, because a lot of people don't realize that along with mentorship comes fellowship as well.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And so,
you're not the greatest thing. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. One of my big things is that your mentor has 0% responsibility to your personal development. And a lot of people think mentorship is something that should be done to them. Like you do mentorship to me and I'll get better as a result. And that's just not how it goes.
Yeah. I call that the matrix chair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The matrix chair, where he leans back and they just start plugging in kung fu and everything else. Yeah. That's what I call it. Yeah. Sorry. That doesn't happen. There's no shortcut. You got to put in the hard work.
Right. Yeah, there's not a shortcut. And it's like, the story people tell about like the Beatles, right? Everybody said the Beatles were an overnight success, but they played in like broken down bars and strip clubs for over a decade before anybody cared.
Yeah. There you go. Yes.
I've got all kinds of people calling in, and for whatever reason.
Cool though. This is great interaction. Thanks for joining us on Blab.
Yeah, and guys, I'm sorry that this is Thundercat 919. You know what? I really like this young lady, because she's married to me, and she's really super smart. But one thing that she says, gradually then suddenly. One thing that I say a lot is that almost everything happens gradually then suddenly. Like nothing happens suddenly. You don't become an expert in a field. It's like for my writing, I wrote for years and years and years, and nobody cared, right? And then all of a sudden, people care more, right? And it was similar to that with my Dale Carnegie stuff. Like I just took the course because I was just eating it up and learning and developing, and then suddenly I woke up. But that suddenly doesn't happen overnight. That suddenly takes a lot of times.
Oh, absolutely.
So
yeah, I think that's actually one of the biggest things that. So you gradually are working your way to that moment where you're going to transition out of the military. And you can either take that as a sudden, oh my goodness, I'm out of the military, or you can use the tools and skill set and wisdom and experience and knowledge that you gain over however long, whatever your career was, and then transition. See, that's the biggest thing for me also, and I'm hearing a lot of it in your story as well, too. Transition to a lot of people needs to be sudden. Mm-hmm. That's just not the case. You already know that. A transition is a transition. It's going to be a period of time.
Right.
You're trying to figure out the ropes on something new. You do have strengths, and there are weaknesses that you're cognizant of as you're moving throughout the world.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Michael, tell me this: as you're working and mentoring people, how do you help them recognize the strengths that they have?
Yeah, the biggest thing is I'll use the word to kind of almost tease it out of them. It's more or less the Socratic method is the easiest way to put it. Well, what are your leadership traits, skills, abilities, blah blah blah. They all immediately go back to the Marine Corps. Anything and everything that they try to pull during the transition, they always pull out of the military. So why don't you just use what you learned in the military and just springboard and leverage what you now use
Right.
I wrote a thing called the 5-paragraph business plan. It's actually free. The template is free, cigarsandseastories.com/5-paragraph business plan. I'll be doing e-courses and a number of different things that'll release. Well, was going to release in April, and then we got accepted to the TEDx event. It's like, my Lord.
Darn.
Kind of split off the plate.
You're right.
So, which is great. It's fantastic. I look at it as an opportunity to be able to, I don't want to say speak on behalf of all veterans, but I really hope that people understand that we're super honest, super integrity based. We're just looking to add value to the majority of the equations that we put ourselves in or situations that we find ourselves in. That's really either intimidating or off-putting. In a civilian society, in American society, we're based upon individualism, which is a great thing.
Right.
An absolutely wonderful thing. In the military, we're based upon honor. And so an honor-based system means that you go out and use your speciality in order to do something for the collective group.
Right.
But it's tribal. It's a survival mentality. It's not this is how we're going to govern each other or something like that. It's
Right.
a tribe. So anyhow, I try to reiterate and reinforce the fact that you had a speciality, a Marine Corps occupation specialty.
Right.
Now, so yeah, that's the essence of it.
Cool.
Look at him, he's back, folks.
Sorry, I couldn't be here sooner. I was just out on a beach sipping margaritas and was like, oh, maybe I'll come back and try again.
Nice.
There you go.
I've been listening to everything you're saying, though, and I totally agree with 42% of it. So I appreciate you guys sharing it. It's been wonderful. And thank you for your help. I feel like the help people did something to make this happen.
You know what? I think I don't know what happened. I don't know why I couldn't. I kept getting the prompt and I kept clicking it and nothing would happen. So I made you a co-host and I made Michael a co-host. So maybe you were just able to come in by yourself. I didn't know I could do that until just now. So thank you.
Nice.
Big shout out to Blab. I think it was Jason at Blab. Blabstud. My man Blabstud hooked us up.
Yeah. At Blabstud. Yeah. Wow, it's amazing it worked. Yes, thank you, Blabstud. And they said they're working on the issue. Hang on. I think the issue's fixed.
Well, if they can make it better, we'll let them.
I think there's still quite a bit of a lag, though. Yeah. I think there's a big lag, though. Are you experiencing
big time.
Lag in my audio?
Lots of lag.
Doug, I never asked.
Man, it's crazy.
You what?
I am on some solid interwebs here, and it's just not working.
Where you're from originally.
Here, I'm from Raleigh.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, I was born like 40 miles away from Raleigh, Sanford.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
So because a lot of people are like, "Oh, Michigan? Yeah, you want to go to Cary?" I'm like, nah, I see through your tricks here.
Right.
No, I live on 20 acres north of town. No,
right.
I need and the ability to shoot things.
Yes, I feel you. All right, Jason.
I'm back. How's the lag now? Is it
better? Man, it's so good.
Okay, so I went off Wi-Fi and I'm just on LTE on my phone now. That was the issue. Mike, you are stealing all the Wi-Fi bandwidth in the building, and so I had to go to my phone to use this.
Yeah.
So cool.
Full of startups. You're right.
I'm telling you. This is a cool building, though. For people who are in the area who have never been here, come out to the Frontier. It's a co-working space. It used to be the IBM campus, IBM facilities back in the 70s, I think it is. And now the RTP Foundation here has scooped it all up, and the first floor is all free co-working space. And then you can rent offices up in the higher level floors. And typically the internet's not this bad. So this is probably not the greatest sales pitch for the connectivity part. Of course, now Allison Crow, my friend, just signed up. I was going to start cursing you in a second, Allison, because what you don't know since you just got here, Allison is a huge Blab person. She blabs all the time.
Nice.
Even before the service is available, she was blabbing. But no, I'm just kidding. So she uses the service all the time. And Allison, I just now got on after like 30 minutes of trying because of a technical issue. So I was about to go on Facebook and curse you for saying so many good things about Blab, but their support did come on and help us out. So that's awesome. So I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, and you know what really bugs me the most, Jason, is that you haven't been on but like 45 collective seconds, and you have more props than either me or Michael. So I'm there. You go. There you go.
No, you know what it is
There you
that
go. Take that.
it's the underdog. It's that they finally see.
They're rooting for you.
I'm the Rudy of the three of us. You guys get that, right? I am the Rudy. I am the 6 foot tall Rudy.
Nice.
One play, man.
One
play.
That's all I need is one play.
That's all it takes.
So what was cool though was it was cool to like really hear more about both of your stories. I kind of heard them on in a very short way when we all met on Tuesday night at the reveal party. I don't know what you call it. And then Mike and I were together on Sunday, and Doug, you'll find out about all the cool stuff we found out about on Sunday tonight, right?
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And super excited. Love your stories and love that I get to be on this journey with you guys.
Yeah, feelings mutual. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you got to the place where you became a TEDxRaleigh presenter.
Yeah, so I was born in North Miami Beach, Florida, and moved to Orlando when I was about 2 years old, and lived there in Central Florida my entire life until about 2 years ago when I relocated to the Raleigh-Durham area. I actually live in Morrisville.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so brand new. My wife and I just decided, we had lived in Florida pretty much our entire lives, my entire life, and she moved there when she was like 7 from Ohio, and we wanted seasons and we wanted elevation. Two things you don't get in Florida. Florida has 2 seasons. It's hot and hot as hell, and then we have our elevation is landfills. So like I wanted something. We both wanted something different. So we picked up and just moved here, man. Like it's we decided we wanted to move here, and within a few months, we sold our house and just said we're going to do it. We're going to go on an adventure, and so now we're here, and it's been almost 2 years, and we love it. And my background's in technology. I spent the better part of a decade and a half in technology. The last corporate job I had was the director of engineering and operations for a tech firm based in Florida, and then about 4 years ago, I took the leap in entrepreneurship, and I launched an executive transportation company right when I left my corporate job with a couple partners, and it was really fun. We learned a lot. It blew up in my face, and I lost tens of thousands of dollars, but it was a good learning experience.
Of course.
So that was fun. And it was a cool company. We built mobile executive offices in the back of Lincoln Navigators, so we could drive attorneys, for example, across the state of Florida for depositions and different things, and they could be in the back billing their clients and working the entire time we were traveling. So it was cool, and it was like the NetJets point-based system. It was really neat, just not the right timing economy-wise.
Sure.
So whatever, but that was a great experience. Then I launched another company that's actually still up and running in partnership with NASA. So I started a technology commercialization company where we are commercializing technology from the space shuttle program. And so that's still going. That's a really, really cool thing. But through that entire process and through my own evolution as a human, I've always been a jokey, fun, outgoing kind of person. But the way I developed that was as a mask, as a crutch, as kind of a defense mechanism, because I actually grew up really fat. I was 332 pounds 5 years ago. So I've lost about 130 pounds, and I was big my whole life. I was 250 pounds when I was 15, which is, when kids are really accepting of who you are as a person. So that was fun for me. So I'd always, they're so loving. They're just like, oh, I don't care what you look like. We love you. Come eat at our table. Here, share my fries. Like never. So I had but on top of that, a lot of anger, a lot of stress, even had some suicidal thoughts at times as I got older. And I finally just realized, I have a story around kind of when the transformation really hit, but the moral of the story was that I realized like there had to be a better way. I didn't know what it was. I knew one of those ways could be leaving the earth entirely. Thank God that I didn't do that. And I started really kind of digging into like, is there a different way to live in the world? And if so, what is this thing outside of me that I need to change to make my inside feel better? And then, of course, the big sick joke is that it's nothing outside of you. It's all inside of you that needs to change for that to happen. So I really dug into to personal development. And after doing that for a while, I realized like, man, I love this stuff and I want to get paid to continue learning it. And so that's kind of how I got into coaching and speaking. And that's what I've been doing now for the past 3 years is doing a lot of coaching with executives, with entrepreneurs, with leaders, with other coaches, and doing a lot of speaking. I host a couple of online shows. One called The Not So Serious Life with this guy, Steve Chandler, which is a lot of fun. And so I just do anything I can to be in performance mode because I feel like, something that I love about the work that I do, and I can see this in you guys especially, and I'm sure a lot of the other TEDx presenters, is that we love to share, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sharing can take all kinds of different forms, but for me, my genius zone of sharing is performing, right? Is being in the front of the room and doing what I can to share what I feel are my gifts of humor, of simplification, of analogies, of just whatever I've done in my past that's led up to this moment, and to share that with other people. And so, you know, being a speaker, doing a TEDx talk is like, I mean, that's like the holy grail, right? That's like, you know, at least for me, like to me, I it's a very big deal. And so when I found out they were going to be doing it, I applied. I don't know about you guys, it took me like 3 hours to finish the application. Like it took a while to do that. And I was just super excited with the topic. I love the topic of Wanderlust. And I've been in and out. So have you guys talked about the theme of TEDxRaleigh yet?
No.
Okay. So do you want me to just bring it up real quick? Just kind of tell everybody?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So the theme, which not all TEDx's seem to have a theme. I've seen, but I love that they have a theme. I think that's so cool. And the theme for this one is Wanderlust. And, you know, being in this constant state of wonder or awe or losing yourself in wonder. And it's something that's really near and dear to me, because I feel like in my life, the more I embody the mentality, for lack of a better word, the perspective of a child, right? Not necessarily a whiny, entitled little baby, but a child, right? The spirit of playfulness and not making everything so serious. My life seems to be better. And so when I heard this Wanderlust, I was like, wow, that's like so on message for me. And so I had this idea for a talk, and the talk that I'm going to be giving is called How to Manufacture Fascination. And,
oh, interesting.
Yeah, and thank you. And so for me, where that comes from is that I believe being fascinated, being curious, experiencing wonder on a moment by moment basis is a choice. And so what I hope to share, and I don't know, I don't know if this is going to convey or not, but what I hope to share with everybody that's in attendance or anybody watching online is that it is a moment by moment choice, that we can choose fascination, that we can manufacture fascination in any given moment. So I'm excited to see if what's up here will come out of here and actually hit somebody here. So we'll see.
In all the right order.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's hope. Like, we don't want somebody to have a heart attack and then puke and then you know their head explodes. We don't want that. So yeah, the order is very important, Mike. Definitely.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's funny. I think it reminds me of was it? I forget. I don't know why, but I can't remember who said it. But our greatest power is the power to choose.
Yeah.
Gosh, I can't remember the person who said that, but that's one of the things I say a lot in my classes is, you know, we have way more power than we think that we have. And once we recognize how much power we actually have over, and it's all in the choices that we make. Right. And how we choose to perceive things. It's like, you know, the people that say, I had to say that because they made me mad. Well, they didn't make you mad. You made a choice to be mad, and then you made a choice to say something that you shouldn't have said. Right?
Totally.
And and the same rule applies to our careers and to our personal life and professional life, and you know the whole thing. So
yeah, you always have the power to choose. Language is such a huge part of that also, like you said, Doug. I mean, it's just, it's enormous. And Seth Godin says, I always butcher the quote, but he says something to the effect of, when you say I didn't have a choice, what you're really saying is I had one easiest path in that moment.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, man. This is fun. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Well, it's funny because you guys all have something for Wanderlust, because the way that I approach Wanderlust was a dreamscape of sorts.
Yeah.
It's a vision that you get to dance around within to whatever extent. So Wanderlust for me was setting the writing pad back down in the nightstand, knowing that it's a great idea, and then dreaming about it all night.
Nice.
And it could be anything. It doesn't need to be the idea for a blog post or for a video or whatever. It could just be very simply put, case in point, the other night I was looking around I'm a process-driven or a template-driven person, so that way they're almost like play cards that I can go through, something that I adopted in the military. And I heeded my own advice the other night because I wanted to say something to the wife, and I'm like, pretty sure I'm not going to add value to this situation by saying something about that. But it was funny, though, because Wanderlust-wise, I wrote down about dream vacation the other day. In the decade since I've, gone into the military, I've just never taken an actual vacation.
Wow.
I went home and I saw friends and family and stuff like that, or we would do things on the weekend or whatever. But I have never taken a vacation, like a true what you would look at a vacation. The parents are like, "Hey, where do you want to go for your honeymoon?" We didn't do that. We got married in a traditional sense and all of that other stuff. It's just, how it is. Life is busy.
Yep.
Gets in the way sometimes. So for me, how is I going to add value to my situation, to our equation, to our marriage and things of that nature? At the end of the summer, we've got a really cool vacation coming up.
Nice.
I wrote it down on a piece of paper and I dreamed about it all night long. And I'm like, oh man. And you know what? My wife's so simple. I mean, she's low maintenance.
Nice.
Is what I'm trying to.
Yeah.
She says, I want a beach and cable in our room.
What else do you need?
Okay. Right, exactly. What else do you need? Well, I'm gonna go lay and float out in the ocean or something like that.
Yeah.
Shut my brain off.
So where are you going?
But, yeah. Well, that's the thing is right now we've got it nailed down to we're gonna go near Sanibel Island.
Oh yeah.
You know where
Sanibel is.
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome.
We have friends and family who are in Tampa, and we were thinking about shooting down to Sanibel, which is a place that I went as a kid and a wonderful area, and I want to go back and experience it again.
Oh, dude.
Mainly because, kind of on a sad note, my grandfather, who I recently lost, was on that trip with us, and we went through. Dude, it was awesome. My grandfather always wore plaid and Dickies, and he was a farmer and a custodian.
Wow.
Nice.
That's his thing. Okay, he was a man of service. That's how it is. Why are you a farmer? My family has a great life. Why are you a custodian? So that I can get a pension, and the kids can go and learn something. I'm like, dude, Grandpa, you're awesome. So we go to Florida, right? We're in Sanibel Island. You know what I'm talking about, Jason. So we're down there. Grandpa's in his Dickies with his plaid shirt on, and we're going kayaking. I mean, this is a guy who's like 70 years old, plaid shirt, Dickies, work boots. Sanibel Island, it's 85 degrees outside, and we're going to go kayaking through mangroves. And the entire time I kept splashing him with water on accident. And he's like, Mike, you got me soaked to the ass back here. What the hell is going on? And it's one of my favorite memories of growing
that's
up.
awesome.
I thought to myself when I was a kid and I was there, I was like, you know what? Because the last time I was there, I was probably 9-10 years old. I said to myself, when I'm grown up and I got a family of my own, this is where I'm going to go. And I was thinking about Grandpa the other night. Because he passed away a couple of weeks ago, I wrote down the idea and I dreamed about it the whole night. So that's wanderlust to me.
Yeah.
Being lost within that vision of, it's a dream.
Wow. That's awesome. And you know what? Just like watching you tell that story, I think is just watching you do that is an amazing like demonstration of what wanderlust really is, right? Like your face literally changes, your countenance changes when you tell that. Your eyes sort of dart back and forth, like I know you're seeing it in your mind, which is awesome. When one of the things that I said in my sort of application, like the thing that kept coming to my mind when I thought about wanderlust was having the ability to be childlike without being childish. And I don't think that's easy all the time.
Yeah.
Jason, we lost your audio, dude.
It's gonna make me dizzy.
I know. I'm like watching Blair Witch.
I'll go down there and throw an elbow into him.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that what needs to happen? Do we need like a Blair Witch first person thing?
Yes, definitely. Oh my gosh.
It's gonna come and attack me.
Didn't he say he did stuff with NASA? Does that give us a certain level of intelligence that we figured this out?
I thought you were a rocket.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
He deserves to win the prop challenge.
Yes, he does. Yes, he absolutely does. And he's killing our props right now. All right, Jason, get it together, dude. Dr. Freud's therapy ball. This is a lot like an old Japanese karate movie. All right, so yeah, let's do that. So for the folks that are on, as you have questions, feel free to throw your questions in Oh, what are we talking about? Right now, we're talking about bad audio and how we can't hear anything Jason says. So the main thing that we've been talking about is TEDxRaleigh, the event that's going to be on March the 19th. You can learn more at TEDxRaleigh.org. And we've just been talking a little bit about our backgrounds. Myself, Michael, as well as Jason were all selected to be presenters last week. Is that when it was? Was it last week? Oh, no, now I can't hear your audio.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, but I can't hear Michael.
Oh, God.
Did you take Michael's audio?
Well, it's a tug of war. We actually have two. We have Dixie cups with string that are going down the hallway to where and if I yank the Dixie cup too fast, it takes away his audio.
No. Oh no! Oh my gosh!
It's crazy.
All right, hold on. Let me answer that. A question came up. I know it's sold out, but how easy is it to get on a waiting list? So if you'll just go to TEDxRaleigh.org and click buy tickets. It'll send you to a waiting list and sign up. So that's the best way to be on a waiting list. And you will not be sorry to go ahead and get on the waiting list. So I'd recommend you do that not right now after the Blab. Yeah. Don't do it now.
And Michael, what I did was I just closed the app and went back in, and then the audio worked again. So if you want to close the app and come back in, then maybe the audio will work. Go ahead.
It's a trick. He's just trying to get you to go away. He's going to lock the seat.
I would never. What I was saying with my little pad was to ask a question because I was going to see what the Dr. Freud therapy ball had to say. So ask a question about your upcoming performance, Doug. What do you want to know about your TEDxRaleigh talk? And we'll ask Dr. Freud the therapy ball.
Will I throw up on stage?
Okay, so just in case Dr. Freud couldn't hear you, Dr. Freud, will Doug throw up on stage during TEDxRaleigh? And Dr. Freud says, I don't know if you can see this. Dr. Freud says, it's hard to read. He says, "Who am I talking to now?"
Jason.
So are we talking?
Jason Goldberg.
No, I think what Dr. Freud is saying is, are we talking to a shadow of you, Doug? Is this your mom or your dad's pattern coming through? It's talking about. Oh God, this is so stupid. Okay, what other props can I pull? Here's one. Here's a gift I got from a client. The best is yet to come, and I'm telling you, bro, that's going to be us on stage, man. The best is yet to come.
So I saw a quick episode of one of the shows that you do, and what's the gentleman's name that does the show with you?
Steve Chandler.
So what's his deal with like props? Like
he loves props. There's a few people on here right now that I know who Steve is. Michael Hilton's here, and Allison, if she's here, she knows him too. He is just a silly. You want to think about or talk about like the essence of playfulness of being a child, even when you're in your 70s.
Yeah.
It's him, man. He lives that every day. So
That's
he loves
funny.
Props. Mike, are you there? Can we hear you?
I believe so. Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yes. See, it wasn't a trick.
All right, talk fast because Jason's audio is going to go out in 15 seconds.
I'm putting this back on the show.
What you guys don't know is this is like a social experiment. I just keep muting you.
That would not surprise me in the slightest, dude. That would not surprise me in the slightest. Yeah, Mike said he loves Steve. Yeah, Steve Chandler's amazing. He's authored 30 plus books and didn't start writing books until he was in his late 40s, like 48.
Wow, really?
And so so it's a great lesson for anybody out there who's like, I've been in this career for a long time, or I've been in this state for a long time, or I've been doing blah, blah, blah for a long time, and I can't possibly change.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a perfect example of somebody who said, I don't care about the date on the calendar. If there's something that my heart is calling for me to do, if there's something that I need to do, that this music is inside of me and I refuse to die with it inside of me, how old I am has nothing to do with it. In fact, my age is my advantage because I have so much more wisdom and experience that I can use when I make this transition.
Right.
It's just an even better chance of being successful. Yeah. So, I mean, I did the same thing with being in IT for, almost 15 years. And Mike, I know you being in the service, that's got to be a huge transition to go back into civilian life. And I mean, and Doug, just what you've been through in your life in general, your own personal growth and personal transformation, your age and your experience are what makes it even better. You have the transferable life experience to do whatever else it is that you want to do. That success is totally portable, and I love that about life.
Yeah, and I think it's a question that people don't ask themselves enough, right? I mean, like how is the things that I already know like the things I want to know, right? Yeah. Or how are the things that I've done before like the things that I want to do? And I think if people ask just those two questions, it's amazing how many answers you already have. And then it just becomes a matter of executing against the information that you've already got, which isn't as hard as executing against something you don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Each time that you encounter something else in a transition, because you guys are using all the right words. One of the other things that I like to mention also, because transition, of course, is the number one topic for veterans. It's not necessarily a transition so much as it's an evolution, more often than not. And I think that if you realize that you have an opportunity to evolve, that is crucial for success, because ongoing evolution is, I pride myself on the fact that I always want to learn, but that's just because I'm inquisitive. That has nothing to do with whether or not I receive education. So I want to evolve in that way. So we talk about mind, body, and soul, especially in a spiritual sense, or emotional intelligence, or things of that nature. The warrior, the philosopher, and the poet, which is another thing that I always strive for. I've got a check mark in the warrior column. I'm working on the philosophy, which of course philosophy should be number one. I apologize for not putting that forward first, but your principles, your values that you associate with, the people that you associate with are going to be the sum of your parts. But really, it's an evolution. You're evolving into we don't have exoskeletons, but basically you're shedding one and picking up a new set of armor.
Right.
I guarantee I'm not the same person that I was when I joined in the Marines.
Right.
I guarantee that I'm not the same leader that I was, when I transitioned out of the Marine Corps.
Right.
Or did I evolve into the next evolution?
Right. And you shouldn't be, because if you were, then you did it wrong.
Right. Like, so answer to this test. If you're not seeing progress, you're probably doing
right.
Yeah. So I'm curious about something. We have a handful of people here. I'm just curious. I'm really genuinely curious, because we're having this conversation, especially about TED. The people who are here right now, if you were able to give a TED Talk, I would just love to know, what would the title of the TED Talk be? I would love to know, and you don't have to have some perfectly formed, marketable title, but what's the thing you'd love to talk about? Michael, I know you'll have an answer. Michael Hilton, and Frank. I don't know if that's you, Frank, that's here. I could be wrong, or maybe it is you. I'm not sure. But if you're here, then I'd love to hear what you have to say. Yeah. I would just love to hear what anybody has to say about it. It is you. Hey, what's up, Frank?
All right. So
tell me.
So there's a couple of ways. There's a couple of ways that you guys can answer. One way would be just to comment in the comments box. The other way would be to click on the open chair and come in and hang out with us. So either way, now I have not demonstrated the ability at this point to let people in, but I will absolutely give it a shot.
Oh God, this could break the internet.
I hate doing this, but I got to cut it short. I got a 3 p.m. meeting.
Oh man, you are dead to us. You are dead to us.
But you want to know something though? It's a 3 p.m. meeting in order to set up a veteran facility to help out other ambitious veterans.
Nice.
That's awesome.
There you go.
Well,
worthy goal.
Now Jason's a bad person for saying that. Cool, Michael. Hey, I appreciate you being on with us. Let's do this again. This is fun.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate you being on, man.
Likewise. Thanks for setting it up.
Yeah, man. See you, brother.
Awesome.
Cool, dude. Good luck, man. Talk to you soon. Later.
Yeah, take care.
All right, we got the other Michael. Michael Hilton said that his TED Talk would be called Beyond Depression and Addiction.
Wow.
That would get some people for sure.
That's strong. When I read that wrong, I don't know if you heard this, but I've got a little bit of dyslexia that goes on a little bit. So the first thing I read was Beyond Depression to Addiction, which is probably a different thing.
That probably is a different thing. That actually could be kind of cool. It'd be good for a reality show.
Right.
So Michael Hilton said this to him too. So I guess he maybe had some dyslexia too. But yeah, Beyond Depression and Addiction is amazing. Yeah. And that's a great idea. See, Waking Up says, if you haven't heard it, Malcolm Gladwell, What We Can Learn from Spaghetti Sauce was excellent. That is a great talk. Have you heard that, Doug?
No, I haven't.
It's I remember them showing that to us in my in a marketing class when I did my MBA. It was a really good video. Frank says his talk would be good enough already, always. Cool. That's awesome. I love that. Frank just wrote a book too. And Frank, you have to tell me, because I know I want to say it's in Norwegian. What is the title of your book translated into English? Can you tell us that? And if you want to jump into the an open seat we got here, I actually have to go too in about 5 minutes. But
yeah, me too.
But we can do this for a couple more minutes. Yeah, I'd love to hear what because I try to figure out kind of in context what it is, but English is difficult enough. So Norwegian was like I was done. There was nothing I could add there. So cool. So we have one TED Talk. Who else? If you had to give a talk, the magic of thinking is what his book is called. I think I actually knew that, which is great. I mean, right there's magic in your thoughts.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Congrats on that, Frank. So Doug, what are you most looking forward to with the entire TEDxRaleigh experience?
The process. The process. I mean, one of the things I've learned in my development is there's an old Chinese proverb that says the journey is better than the end. And I've found that to be true in almost everything that's been worthwhile that I've gone through is really, it's just the journey, right? Like I'm as excited about the coaching meeting tonight as I am the actual event on the 19th. And like this, like I've been geeked up for this for like 3 days just to do this Blab, like with you two, like just kind of communing and hanging out and like learning from each other. That's the thing that gets me really excited. Like I think the most boring part, not boring, but the part that I'm least looking forward to, is maybe like my time on the stage. Like I want to be up there to share, but I would rather talk about it before and after, with people kind of face to face, as much as I wanted to get up there and like evangelize and like do the whole thing. So how about you?
That's where we disagree, because I am looking forward to your time on the stage.
Okay.
So I think that'll be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Now, and your wife is going to be there, I'm guessing, right?
My wife will be there.
Okay, and what's your wife's name? I know you mentioned it, but I was cutting in and out.
Yep, my wife's name is Meredith. She's the smarter of the two of us.
You married up too, then, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. Oh, not married up. I mean, like it's not even on the same planet. Like so she's. I mean, I call her. She's like my credential, right? It's like when people like sort of because my main thing was sales, right? I sort of grew up in that world. And so the thing that I always used to say is if you're not sure about my skill set, then just meet my wife.
Because you closed the deal. Yeah, that was not supposed to happen.
Right. I completely oversold myself in that way.
That is awesome. That is so cool. Well, I can't wait to meet your wife. My wife, Alicia, will be there as well. Also way out of my league. I think one day she'll get her prescription checked and she'll leave me. But for now, things are working out. I keep scratching her glasses anytime she's asleep, so she won't get better. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot of the process too. And I'm looking forward to, I'm looking forward to a couple things in particular. One, I'm looking forward to all of us being there the day of before any of the talks start. Yeah. Just being together with the presenters and feeling that energy. And then the next step up is feeling the energy of the entire room, whether we're sitting watching talks or we're up on the stage. Right. And then I'm looking forward to it also being over, so we can all just, like you said, kind of reflect and celebrate and just enjoy, looking back on what it is we accomplished. So I'm looking forward to all that stuff. Yeah.
Have you been to the venue?
I have not. Have you?
Yeah, I went last weekend and just kind of poked around a little bit, dude. It's really cool. It's really, really cool. Like one thing I really like is how low the stage is and how close the first row is going to be. I mean, cool. It's going to be a really intimate. I think the energy is just going to be stupid. And I'm looking forward to the green room as much as I am anything.
Yeah.
Just totally, like you said, just being back there with people that are geeked up about their thing. And, I said I actually went to the very first TEDxRaleigh planning meeting a couple of months ago to see how I could be involved. And I called my wife afterwards and she said, well, how'd it go? And I said, well, it was a little scary. And she said, why? I said, because I didn't know there were 40 people as weird as me in Raleigh. I didn't know. I walk in and you could I'm going up the elevator, literally can feel the energy that I'm in before I even walk into the room. And it was really interesting and cool to see. And, Kevin Snyder, the curator, has done such a great job putting the right people, Jim Collins talks about putting the right people on the right bus in the right place. Yep. And, so I think it's gonna be a really dynamic, fun day. Something I think to build some momentum. I mean, gosh, we're selling out. We sold out in 14 minutes.
It was 350 tickets, I think they said, that they actually sold, and they have 450 people on a waiting list.
Yeah.
And they are talking about like some overflow stuff. And Frank, to answer your question, the talks will be recorded and then they'll be uploaded to the TEDx YouTube page. I think they said it typically takes about a month.
Yeah, somewhere between 2 to 4 weeks.
Okay, all right, 2 to 4 weeks. So so you will be able to see it. And Michael Hilton, that's awesome that you're applying at TEDx with your Beyond Depression and Addiction, not to be confused with Beyond Depression to Addiction.
Yeah, that's a different thing, different talk.
I think that's a rock album. I think that's somewhere. That's like an 80s hair band.
Yeah, that's a Charlie Sheen talk.
That's hashtag Tiger Blood. Okay, so dude, so good luck with that, Michael. And yeah, this has been great. Super excited that I was able to do this. Sorry to everybody for the technical difficulties. I'm not apologizing that you didn't get to see my face more, because I'm sure you've seen my face plenty today. But thank you, Doug, for organizing this. Thank you, Michael Penney, who was on earlier. Yep. And this is super exciting. And I love everybody that showed up and asked questions and got engaged. And we're just super psyched to do all this. So thank you, Doug. And thanks to everybody that's been here.
Yeah, man. Hey, let's do it again. This is fun.
Totally, man. We'll talk soon.
All right, brother. Hey, thank everyone for being on. We will see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Later.
See ya.